Coffee and convo, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. We are back. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raider, man. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. As always, I appreciate you guys so much. I see Green Dot Gang is piling in right now, man. Salute to Raider Ray, James Powers. Hey, man, salute to everybody here in the building. As always, get those likes up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. Once again, we're getting closer to that 30K goal. We cannot do it without your guys' assistance, man. Salute to Joey. Salute to my brother Johnny Wade in the building. My dog Spivey, Smokey, CGR, one of the Mod Fathers himself in the building. I see Stockton is here, man. Salute to everybody here in the building, man. Wherever you're watching, let me know in the comments section what city, what state, where are you watching right now? Also, man, are you in traffic listening? Are you at home just kicking your feet up listening? Are you at work with your headphones in listening? Are you at the side chick's house listening? Are you at the side chick's house? Are you at the side chick's house? Let me know down in the comments section. I see Sacramento is heavy in the building. South Sac, I love it. My part of town. So it's good to see my city in the building, man. A lot to talk about today, you guys. I know I started early. Again, wanted to get my shit off while it was still fresh on the brain. There's a lot to unpack today. Some of these pressers have been actually really Comedy Central at this point. Look, I can live with the fact, you guys, that we have a really bad football team, but I can't live with the fact that we are just as bad as a team off the field that we are on the field. It's kind of crazy to me how bad we are off the field. And it low-key matches up how bad we are on the field. We're going to talk about that here in a second, man. We're going to talk about Devin White. We're going to talk about some words that Geno Smith chose to use in response to if he will be around for the near future. We're going to talk about Pete Carroll and the delusion that he carries with him every single day in that building out there in Nevada, man. But, yeah, nasty work. Took a few days off. It's been slow motion. Again, not really a lot to talk about in this realm right now. I mean, we're 2-12, 3 weeks left in the season. We're just trying to escape, this season as soon as possible, get out of here and redirect all of our energy towards the draft and free agency. Again, Black Monday, we're definitely keeping our eyes open for that one because, again, there's going to be a ton of turnaround in terms of this coaching staff as the season unwinds. And then we're going to start getting into those who's the next coach shows, which I'm very, very excited about because there's a lot of candidates out there and potentially some more as college football kind of wraps up. So stay tuned. We'll definitely be talking about that in the first week or two of January in the new year. But until then, we're just going to be, covering every step of the way this miserable 2025 Raiders football team as we face the number one defense in the Houston Texans this Sunday at Houston, where it's going to get really, really, really dark for our Raiders, man. So Rose says, bang zoom, in the great words of our brother Wasted Talent. So to my brother Hug, snow day in Idaho. Woohoo! Hey, man, it's a beautiful day out here in Texas right now. It's like 65, 70 degrees. Sunny. When I get done doing this show, I'm gonna get on my second workout. I got one in this morning when it was really cold, and I'm gonna go get me some cardio in with the pup here once the show is up. So stay tuned. Bubba says Texans are gonna slaughter us 48-3. Okay, I'm not gonna go that far because again, the Texans offense has not been phenomenal by any means. They still struggle up front. They don't have the greatest O-line. CJ Stroud has been, dealing with that O-line for the, pretty much the duration of his time he's been in Houston. Their strength is the defensive side of the football. And again, if we had a strength on this football team, I guess it would be our defense because they're better than our offense. You know what I mean? But, I say that to say, I don't see the Texans putting up that many points on the Raiders. I think this will be kind of like a 21-6 kind of deal, or maybe even a 24-3 type of deal. You know what I mean? Again, I don't see this team going out there and completely just putting a 48 piece on us offensively. I don't see it. Salute to my guy, Bubba, man. Salute to Just Zen, baby, the first super of the day. My brother, I appreciate you. Salute Graphk, on my way to work, but just wanted to give you a shout out for still giving us this fire content during this abysmal year, man. Salute to my brother, Just Zen, baby. I appreciate you, bro. Salute to you over on Twitter. Always supporting what we do over here, man. My dog. Always appreciate you, man. Appreciate the $20. Salute. But we are terrible. We are terrible. But again, I don't see that Texans team putting up a 48 piece. You know what? Let me do this. Texans record. Okay. I'm gonna do this real quick because I know they're a playoff team right now, but I want to go across what they have been doing recently in terms of putting up points on the board. Okay. Well, they put up 40 piece on Arizona, right? So maybe they can continue that trend, But again, before that, 20 piece, 23 piece, 16 piece. They put 36 up against Jacksonville, but then again, 18, 26, 27, 44 against Baltimore, 26, 17, 20, 14. And we'll go over their offensive rankings, the defensive rankings tomorrow on the Graphk and Wasted, or the Wasted and Graphk show. But again, I don't know if they're going to put up that kind of performance on the offensive side of the ball. Now, you know what, Butter? Maybe they score some points on the defensive side of the football because they are clear-cut the number one defense in football. And yeah, man, though that defensive line is going to have Geno or whoever the hell it is at quarterback running for their lives. So, and it looks like everything's trending towards Geno Smith returning this Sunday against the Houston Texans. So, again, but it is what it is. Either way, I don't think it's going to be a 48 piece. I could see a 24, I'll go as high as a 28 piece. But again, I don't know. And this defense has been really, really bad recently as well. So you could be right. Natural says they could put up whatever on. This is facts. Again, man, I'm just looking at the Houston Texans in totality, and they're more of a defensive-minded football team. That is their identity. You know what I mean? So, and again, they've struggled up front, with that O-line. They've lost a few running backs. They dealt with some injuries out there. All I'm saying is, again, I don't think that the Texans are going to go out there and put up that kind of a masterclass on the offensive side of the football. But again, they are coming off a 40 piece against the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll see. Hey, Lucky, man, hey, and he's been hooping for him. The young linebacker out of Alabama. You know what I mean? Hey, that's a fun defense to watch. Hey, man, DeMeco Ryans went out there and turned that thing around, man. That is a fun defense to watch. I mean, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and company, that is a really, really fun team to watch. And, they have a really, really good secondary as well. One of the better corners in football. I'm really, it's as a football fan, right? I'm really excited to watch their performance Sunday. As a Raider fan, I'm like, here we go again, because again, that is their strength. They're a phenomenal defensive football team. So salute to my guy, DeMarcus, man, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, DeMarcus, salute to you. Salute to all the new members here in the building. As always, I appreciate you guys. If you missed out on those 5, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here. Webb, my brother, salute, one of the GOATs over here at OLV. My dog, thank you so much. And salute to all the new members here in the building. John B says, Hondo said, and I know it's Hondo, but he actually had a good point, said to sit the most important players and ones that won't be here last 2 weeks and secure our number 1 pick. Look, it's crystal clear here, you guys, that regardless of anything, Pete is very delusional. And I'm telling you now, I think that he knows the writing is on the wall. I think that Geno knows his time is coming to an end. Brennan Carroll knows. I know that they would love to go out there and win a game or two on the way out to kind of, really fuck us on the way out, right? Like, you're not going to go get Mendoza because there are, Jaden, the young quarterback at USC. He re-signed with USC. He's going back to school. NIL got these guys going back and potentially even getting more money at the collegiate level than the NFL level. So that's one quarterback off the board, right? We're still waiting to see, Dante Moore, the young kid out of Oregon. All signs have always pointed towards him returning to Oregon. But again, with this OC taking the head coaching position at Kentucky, it kind of changed things for me slightly, but again, Oregon has a ton of NIL money. They can pay him and make him a very, very rich man to stick around for another year. But if he's off the board, it's very critical, John B, to lose these next 3 games, period. Gardner Minshew and the Chiefs, Jackson Dart and the Giants, and now, CJ Stroud and the Texans this Sunday. It is very, very worrisome right now because, again, you have a coach, O-line coach and Geno Smith that would love to rain on our parade, would love to shit in our Cheerios, so to speak, on the way out. Because they all know they're not going to be here to see this thing through. So I think it's pretty much mandatory. If you want Fernando Mendoza, you have to lose out. Because if the Giants get that number 1 spot, I can almost bet you 99.9%, maybe even 100%, that they're going to trade out, and they'll probably be somewhere in that 4 or 5 range. They'll still get the exact player that they wanted, and they'll move. The Jets will move up. There's rumors coming out now, you guys, and reports that they're very high on Fernando Mendoza. Remember this, they have 2 first-round picks this year and 3 next year. Okay, so that is very scary. We have to secure that number 1 spot. You know what I mean? So is it good to see Charles Grant finally getting some reps out there? Yeah, definitely. Will he be out there again? Only time will tell. Again, it's just sickening to hear Pete Carroll say they'd like to get Charles Grant more snaps this week. They would like to get Charles Grant more reps this week. It's actually insane that you wait this long to put your 3rd-round guy out there to get him a look. We've seen him out there a few times. I think, what do you have, you guys, like maybe 5 or 6 reps? Last week I seen him out there as, the 6-0 lineman in a spot or 2. So again, but to see him starting to say this now, this late in the game, is actually really, really crazy. It's really good, though, to see Tommy Eichenberg finally getting some reps out there. And I would love to see them, honestly, sit Jamal Adams. But guess what? He is a Pete guy. They're not going to sit him. Devin White, I would love for him to sit. But, he's out there chasing tackles, you guys. And, his agents are paying Ian Rappaport to put crazy, blasphemous shit into the media. I don't know if we'll go over that here in a second, because they're pushing him as potentially the most improved player in 2025, which is absolutely bonkers, because they're looking at total of tackles, which is crazy. And we'll go over that in a minute, because it's crystal clear, you guys, that at this point, these guys are getting paid to post things. And I mean all these guys, because I look at Jordan Schultz, some of the stuff he posts, I'm like, better than this. Again, you're getting paid. Ian Rappaport puts it out into the universe, that Devin White is having a great year, a success story. And we'll go over that tweet here in a minute. You're clearly getting paid for this, or you have some type of ties to their agents, and you're trying to stay in good graces so you can get fed more information during the season. Now, who wouldn't want to get some information out of Devin White at this point, because the Raiders are a shit show? It's crystal clear there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes and behind those walls. So why not be in the good graces of some of these agents so you can get some intel, right? It's part of the game. But again, we'll go over that here shortly, man. Salute to 2-4. The smile you had talking about new coaches speaks volumes. Happy holidays to you and yours. Love the fire content. Looking forward to the offseason. Salute to my guy, 2-4, one of the mob fathers here in the building, my brother. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see who we locate in the offseason to come in and take this thing over and hopefully right the ship in terms of the coaching staff. Salute to Alex, man. Thoughts on the Gruden reunion rumbling? I have no thoughts at all, except hell no. No. Hopefully Mark, resists temptation, and hopefully he stays out of the way when it comes to Gruden. And hopefully Spy Tech and company know better than to bring in John Gruden. And, I think Spytek would pretty much kind of be in the know. And I know that he came way after Gruden in Tampa Bay, but Spytek has a direct pipeline to Tampa Bay. I think he's smart enough to know to stay away from that issue, especially coming off of a lawsuit where he's trying to take the NFL to the cleaners. Look, we're already in bad graces right now. We're 2-12, you guys. The last thing I want to do is bring in John Gruden for the third time and have the NFL just roll all over us because of it. You know what I mean? So no, I just Gruden, good luck to you, whatever you're doing. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Stay the hell away from Las Vegas, man. Salute to my brother. Wasted in the building, man. Salute, fellas. It's always good to see my dog. And you guys will see us tomorrow for the Graphk and Wasted in the Graphk show tomorrow, man. So salute to my brother. He's been out there working like crazy. You love to see it, man. Getting that Christmas bag. Ron Justice, Graphk, chat. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all the things. My brother, man. Good to see you, bro. Paper Chase says, Graphk, do you foresee Brady being aggressive in bringing in certain names to either coach for us or to play for us? Yes, I do. I do. It's funny that Tom Brady's been saying that he can come in and play right now at the quarterback position at a high level, potentially be a top 10 guy. You love to see it. You see Phillip Rivers coming in at 44 years old, threw a touchdown last week, which is actually crazy. Aaron Rodgers still playing right now. Tom, stay away. Stay away. Stay on the commentary side of things. Stay being a minority owner and stay trying to help us build this thing up the right way in Las Vegas. But yes, once again, he's coming off of an offseason where he helped bring in one of his guys in Spytek from Tampa Bay, their former Michigan buddies, right? He tried to go get Matthew Stafford. It didn't work. Stafford ended up staying with the Rams, which was the right decision for him and his family. They're playing at a very high level this year. And again, he went out there and chased the big fish, which was Ben Johnson, who has the Chicago Bears at the top of the league right now as a playoff team. So, yes, I definitely see Brady being very aggressive. Look, man, Las Vegas is a win-now city. Again, I keep saying this. I've said this a million times on this show, on this screen, in front of this laptop. Nobody goes to sit around and wait to win. People go to Vegas to win now. People go to Vegas for the weekend to come up big and get the hell out of there. It's very difficult in Las Vegas to keep those guys' attention out there. You know what I mean? So you need to go out there and be very, very aggressive in that market. Las Vegas is a place, again, where you're trying to sell, the locals on this football team after watching the Golden Knights be as successful as they've been. And again, the WNBA team going out there and winning a ton of titles as well. They're looking at, the Raiders as third fiddle, the third wheel out there in Las Vegas right now behind a WNBA franchise and a hockey franchise. And I'm not just saying this because I'm an A's fan, you guys, but they're slowly moving up the ladder right now. We're getting some young talent. They played pretty well last year in Sacramento. They'll be in Vegas in a few years. There's a very good chance if the Raiders look like this these next 3 or 4 years, they could be the fourth team in that market behind WNBA, behind the MLB, and behind hockey. So trust and believe Brady is definitely going to be very aggressive in the offseason. And I think that Spytek will be as well, because he's going to feel the fire also. First-time GM. First year was a shit show under Pete Carroll. This was a very bad football team in every aspect, from special teams, defense, offense. Yes, they are definitely very much so going to feel the heat out there in Las Vegas. So, yes, I think that Brady and Spytek kind of knew the writing was on the wall when they missed out on Ben Johnson and Matthew Stafford. I've said it a million times. This is kind of a year where they just said, fuck it, throw it away. And next year we'll have a ton of salary cap and in a more attractive free agency period. There's more talent this year than there was last year. We have a ton of money coming up next offseason and the following offseason, a full draft class, north of 10 draft picks. So again, they're going to be very aggressive with all the money that we have, the total, draft picks that we have these next few seasons. Definitely. I definitely expect them to be very, very aggressive. DeMarcus says, A's are playing a series of games in Vegas this year at the Aviator Stadium. That's dope. That's dope. I'm hoping, man, because I'm working on relocating back home to California. We've been working on it for a while now. It's been a process. There's some things that we've been moving behind the scenes. But if I can get home to Sac before the A's leave to Vegas, I'm definitely getting season tickets. And I'm going to go watch my, my A's before they head out to Vegas. So I know we have about, 3 more years, I believe, potentially 4. What is it, 28, 29, Vegas, whenever they're ready. You know what I mean? So hopefully, I get out there soon and I can go out there and catch a bunch of games out there at our minor league park. Salute to Rose. Hey, bro, what are your thoughts on Amy Trask mentioning Jim Gray causing commotion behind the scenes? I don't really have any thoughts on that, Rose. And to be honest, we're still working on a time and a date to bring in the Princess of Darkness, Amy Trask, on the show, and we'll definitely ask her about that whole situation. Definitely. But again, I don't really have any thoughts because I don't really have any intel on the whole Jim Gray situation. I can't just jump out the window. I know Amy has connections that she has working with, directly with the organization for many years. So again, I don't know. I'll just say where there's smoke, there's fire in it, in this situation, because Amy definitely has a direct pipeline to this organization, but we shall see. And Josh, I can't either, brother. Once again, once the season is up in the off season, we already have a few people that we're working on with this show. We're even, working on bringing in some behind enemy lines, players from other teams. Caillou Blue. We talked. He already said he's good in the off season. We talked to Amy. She's good. We're working on the time of the day. We have a few gold jackets on the way here very soon once the season is up. And then also, man, we're working on, which I know some of you guys may not like to hear, but again, we're working on Nick Benito coming on the show. One of our friends of the show is his family, and he spoke to him, and we're working on trying to get him on the show as well. So stay tuned. We got a lot going on. You guys. The offseason is going to be very fun. I just put my credentials in last night for the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl. So again, we're going to have a ton of content here in the offseason. Stay tuned. Damn, I live in Sac, brother. If you move back, we got to have a beer. Oh, yeah, definitely. Got you, Zen, for sure. I'm definitely going to be tapping in with all my people back home in Sac, definitely, man. Again, I'll be looking at some spots out there to be doing some watch parties and definitely getting people involved locally with what we got going on. And again, I'm working on my nonprofit behind the scenes as well. So hopefully some of you guys that are local in Northern California will come out and try to help me put this thing together. Salute to Squid. And once again, you guys, we have a lot to talk about, but Coffee and Convo is your guys' show. So we would definitely I just want to get your guys' opinions in, have some fun, get some questions in. This is what we do again when you guys, this is your show. So again, EJ says, but would be a big grab to see how another player views this team without bias. EJ, and I already sent my questions over just to let him know kind of where we would go. I definitely want to pick his brain about Max Crosby and about Brock and those guys and, that rivalry and all that good stuff. So again, we're working on it. And, again, I can't put promises on some of these. Some of them are already locked in. But again, we're just working on time and dates and stuff like this. I don't think you guys realize how difficult some of this is. I try to bring as many guests possible to get you guys hyped, to get you guys excited. Sometimes we're locked in and this date is good to go. And the next thing you know, hey, I can't do it this month. What do you look like next month? It's a process. Me and Wasted are working behind the scenes around the clock, trying to secure, potential really cool guests that you guys would, be excited about. So again, we're working on those right now. Trust and believe in the offseason. We'll lock in. My brother Squid is trading back, getting draft capital, and still drafting Dante Moore, that big of a drop-off from Mendoza. Let me say this. And Federal, you already know, bro, for sure. I don't know where you're going to trade back, because if Dante Moore does declare, I'm expecting him to be gone in the second or by the number 2 or the number 3 spot. And again, who's going to be there drafted? I know the Giants aren't taking a quarterback. Tennessee's probably not going to take a quarterback, but you got the Jets looming. You have the Saints, who, what are they doing at this point, right? They like Tyler Shuck a lot. They spent a second-round pick on him last year, but is he the guy? And more weekly, he's starting to look like he could be the guy for them moving forward. I know a lot of people don't like his age. They think that he's a little long in the tooth being a rookie. But again, they're an interesting team. And then look at what the Miami Dolphins are doing right now. They just sat Tua. You know what I mean? They just sat Tua. Arizona is going to be looking for a quarterback, and they're right behind us. They're moving on from Kyler Murray. Jacoby Brissett's not going to be there. There's a ton of teams. I'm telling you guys now, if Dante declares, Squid, and all signs are pointing to him returning back to school because of all the NIL and all the money, but I'm going to say this. If he declares, I think we're okay there at 1 or 2, because I really believe that Dante Moore can be a stud at the next level. 1A, 1B with Mendoza at this point. And again, Ty Simpson's still going to be available to you guys. Maybe Spy Tech and Brady really truly believe in him and they can bring him in. Maybe they trade back, pick up a bunch of draft capital and develop him. Who's to say? But I think the big fish in this draft class, Squid, if you're at number 1, don't play around. Just get Mendoza. Get Mendoza. He looks like he is the most NFL ready right now in terms of just going out there week 1 next year and being the guy. But again, we need to build that O-line up. We need to be able to protect him, and we need to go get a few more build the defense up as well, because a young rookie, man, he has a few security blankets. It's the run game. It's his tight end, which in Brock Bowers, he has one of the best, if not the best. He is the best in the NFL. And then putting together a stable defense that can keep, that doesn't force the offense to be back on the football field every fucking 10 minutes or every 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say this. If you're number 1, don't play around. Do not play around. Do not play around. Lose out these next 3 games. Get Fernando Mendoza, because, again, all signs are really pointing towards Dante Moore going back to Oregon. But if he does declare, I think we're in a good spot, you guys, whether we're at that 1 or 2 spot, regardless. I don't see us rattling off 2 wins. I see us at least losing to the Texans and the Chiefs. So, again, that can potentially still have us there at that number 2 spot. Yeah, and wasted. I agree with you. Trade back for what? Get your freaking guy, right? Because a lot of people will argue, again, Arvell Reese is there, right? He is going to be a stud at the next level. The young pass rusher out of Ohio State. There's a ton of talent there. You can look at some of those tackles, Utah, Miami. There's a ton of talent that is going to be there in that top 10. But, again, you just got to go get your guy. It's crystal clear that we have been waiting way too long, to go get a guy early. And I'm talking about first round, not 2014 second round Derek Carr. I'm talking about first round guy. If Fernando is your guy, and again, he fits that prototype build, size, everything that you want to see in a Tom Brady type guy, just go get your guy, man. X, my dog. In 2026, we got to address QB facts. O-line, D-line, and linebacker to bolster the trenches. Helps Max, Genty, Besh, and Bowers. Maybe draft one of Indiana's wide receivers. X, and a ton of my mocks, I went and got Surratt. I've gotten Cooper in the mid rounds. I have no issue if you go get him in the first round to go look at, potentially Cooper or Elijah there in the 3rd round. No issue with that at all. I would love to bring Branch in, though, the speedster out of Georgia. That would be a fun move to pair with Trey Tucker, and those guys that we already have in the building. Dante, some more blazing speed, on the outside. But again, I have no issue with looking at Elijah or Cooper there in the mid rounds. But you're right. We have a lot of holes to fill in the offseason between free agency and the draft. And this is a great time to do it because we have over 20 free agents. We have a ton of salary cap. We're at the top of the league. And then we have a ton of draft capital. Trav, I have not reached out to him, but that's definitely something that I'll look into. I know that him and I think him and Nguyen have their own show, right? I think it's just Win Baby or podcast, I believe. Something like that, former Giant, former Raiders offensive lineman. I'll definitely take a look into that, Trav. Salute to you, my brother. Salute to Ant as well, man. Big dog. Gifting 10 OLV Raiders Network memberships. My brother, man, I appreciate you so much, man. My guy. Salute to all the new members in the building because of my dog, Ant. If you guys want to become a member and you're missing out on those 10, hit the link. It's pinned up top. Ant, my brother, appreciate you so much, man. As always, I want your guys' take on some of these words that have been spewed at the podium out there at the headquarters in Henderson. Interesting choice words from, our head coach, at least for the time being, Pete Carroll, about Charles Grant. And this is all coming off of all the talk that we heard about Caleb Rogers not being ready to go, and blah. Then he goes out there and he's had his struggles, but he's also looked good as well out there at right guard. But, again, these past few weeks, Grant has been active. He's gotten a few reps. He got his chance against the Eagles. And he wasn't out there a ton. He was not out there a ton. But I guess pass blocking wise, according to PFF, 74.7, run block grade, 57.9. Once again, it's not earth shaking here, you guys, because what do you expect Charles Grant to go out there and do with this whole O-line playing really, really bad under Brendan Carroll and whatever scheme he's trying to run out there on the offensive line? But he was out there in a few jumbo packages. He was the 6-0 lineman. There was a spot out there where we seen him go out there and own Phillips, the young edge rusher out there with the Philadelphia Eagles. But Pete did say, I did like his aggressiveness. I thought he looked tough. He finished well. He kept his feet moving and drove the guy off the football a couple of times. It looked pretty good. He made a couple mistakes and all, but I thought we would like to see how we could find a way to use him. Okay. And once again, we've talked about how Stone Forsythe has struggled. He missed the first quarter of the season, you guys. We pretty much brought him off the streets, and he's given up 11.5 sacks in pass pro. So he's been absolutely terrible. And this is coming from Just Blog, baby. Salute to them. In 8 games, 11.5 sacks, which is absolutely bonkers how bad he's been. I would love to see Grant go out there and get some looks out there, left tackle moving forward. But again, it's crystal clear. Again, I've been using that a lot because our head coach is pretty much stuck in his ways, and I don't see him moving off from his guy, Stone Forsythe. But he also went on to say that, they need to find some ways. They would like to get Charles Grant more snaps this week. I want your guys' opinion on this because I just laugh at this point. I just laugh because it's just like, at this point, you have the worst O-line in football. You wait until the last 3 weeks of the season, 4 weeks of the season to finally get your young rookies. And you guys didn't go get these guys in the 6th round. This wasn't a Munford situation where you got them in the 7th round at Ohio State. You got these guys with prime real estate, real draft capital there in the 3rd round in Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers. And you wait this long to actually go out there and see what these guys can do. It's actually just blasphemy the way this coaching staff has operated this season. But Pete, like you should want to see what he can do moving forward. But again, he's a spy tech guy. He's not your guy. You brought in Stone Forsythe at left tackle. He brought in Charles Grant at left tackle to be, the guy that they could potentially develop and take over for Colton down the line. Injuries have, hampered him these last few seasons, the shoulder, the ankle, so on and so forth. But it looks like, again, there's this power struggle there of you wanting to play your guys over spy test guys. And then you throw Caleb Rogers out there. He looks pretty good. And now you look stupid. So I don't see, these next 3 weeks, him throwing out Charles Grant and saying, go to left tackle. Honestly, I think that the only way Pete can potentially, and there's a very low chance of him keeping his job, is going to spy tech and saying, what do we need to do in order to operate these next 3 weeks so we can figure this thing out, next season. I think the only way, and it's a very small chance, you guys, again, I am not bringing him back by any means, but him going to spy tech this late in the game and saying, hey, let's play the young guys. Let's do it your way. My way didn't work. What do we need to do in order to get this thing right moving forward? But again, there's a ton of ego in this sport. There's a ton of pride in this sport. And again, he's 74 years old. There's not too much you can tell Pete at this later stage of his life. Salute to Richard. Hey, my first time doing this, Graphk, but if we are number 3 draft, what do we give up to get the number 1 draft pick? A ton, Richard, a ton. And I don't even know if we even have enough in order to move on. Because again, remember, the Jets have 2 firsts this year and 3 firsts next year. They can package up whatever the hell they want and move up the board however they see fit. You know what I mean? So, but it would cost us at least our first this year, our second this year potentially, and then a future first and maybe even another second, maybe a 2 firsts and 2 seconds to move up. But again, I don't know. It could be more because we don't know with some of these other teams how they're looking at Fernando Mendoza. There could be another team like the Jets that'll throw away all those picks that they got from Quentin Williams and Sauce Gardner and company and say, we want our guy, Fernando Mendoza. So it's really tricky. How about just not drafting number 3? You know what I mean, Rich? Again, but I love you, bro. Appreciate you on the $5. Salute to you, man. Thank you so much for gifting $5, man. Salute to my brother Hug. Get a good laugh, bro. Your sis AI'd me on a damn Highland cow and customers are ordering it. Peep the profile. Send it to my phone right now. Hug. Text it to me. I'm gonna show it on screen. Salute to my brother Hug, man. And salute to him and his wife, man. Him and his sis doing great things out there with their business. That's dope. AI is like actually crazy right now. So to Daniel, if Mendoza is our guy, I hope we don't have to compete with other teams for him, even at second, which is scary, as the Titans or Giants have so many holes, pause, that they may trade away the first pick. They will. And then, they're going to stockpile picks and build their team up because they already have, Jackson Dart and Cam Ward in the building. So again, it is very, very critical of this team to win nothing moving forward. Win the offseason, lose out the regular season. Salute to my guy, Daniel. This is facts, though, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Demon, you did not have to do that, my brother. Salute to my dog, man, with a bomb. My brother, I appreciate you so, so much. Merry Christmas, brother, to you and the family. OLV for life. Hey, King, let me know if you're free in the next few days, brother. Would love to catch up with you. Go get a cigar, man, and kick game. Cigars on me, brother. Let me know, man. Demon, love you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Hopefully you and the wifey are good and everything's going phenomenal your way, brother. We definitely need to catch up soon. My brother Demon, man, my dog, man. Love my dog to death. One of the greatest human beings, you guys, you will ever meet in your life. And I'm not just saying that because he's my boy and because of how much he does for this platform. This dude's heart is made of gold, man. Salute to my brother Demon, man. Thank you so much. Rube, sign Braden Smith, and we talked about this, right? The right tackle out there at Indianapolis. Pay Elijah Vera. Okay, Tucker, the former USC product, Jets guard, but he has dealt with a ton of nasty injuries, Rube, and it scares the shit out of me. If he's healthy, he could be one of the better guards in football. He is a stud, but man, those injuries, man, scare the shit out of me. I'm going to look this up real quick. Elijah Vera Tucker, injury history. I want to look this up real quick because he's a name that we brought up several times, but again, scares the shit out of me. Significant setbacks. A torn tricep in 2022, torn Achilles in 2023, and another season-ending triceps tear in the 2025 preseason, man. So even in 2024, he had a career best healthy season playing in 15 games, starting at right guard. So he had a really good season in 2024, but the other 3 seasons, coming off of his rookie deal, has been nasty. Torn tricep, torn Achilles, another triceps tear. That is actually really, really scary, man. So depending on what that contract looks like, I would not want to pay him. Now, if it's a modest deal and he believes in what we're trying to do moving forward, I would love that. If we can get a healthy Elijah Vera Tucker, he would be a phenomenal pickup for us. But I'm all for bringing Braden Smith in. He just scares me a little bit. He does. And again, this is no knock because myself, and I know a ton of you guys deal with certain, mental health things, whether it's anxiety or depression. I know that he has dealt with some serious things. I believe he was diagnosed with like extreme OCD, and there's a few other things that come to, that they diagnosed him with, which is kind of scary. It sounds like they did get it under wraps this year, Rube, which is great. They found some medication that actually works for him, which is great. But I'm willing to take a look at him. But again, what will it cost us at this point? You know what I mean? Glaze, Rogers, and Grant fighting for the other guard spot. We have young talent, need vets, Colton, Tucker, JPJ, Grant, Smith. I love it. I'm here for it. Again, it needs to make sense, though, with Elijah Vera Tucker because 3 seasons, you played 4 seasons in the NFL. You had 1 season where you played 15 games. Other than that, you missed a ton of ball games. So, and I know, Rube, you know how good this kid is. I know you watched him very closely. You're a Southern California boy, USC connection. I know you know. But again, I would definitely take a look at those guys. If you're going to pay big money in free agency, go build the O-line. Go build the O-line. Salute to my dog, Rube, in the building, man. Trust and believe. I appreciate you, my brother, man. Salute to S. Dot. You need the most powerful dudes on your team at guard or kiss the run game goodbye. I agree. Salute to my brother S. Dot. The trenches God over here at OLV Raiders Network, man. Salute. Yeah, that is a terrible idea. And I want you guys, look, man, let's kill the whole narrative real quick, you guys, about this whole Tua situation. Okay. The man was not only was he relegated to third string. He is the emergency quarterback out there in Miami. He was benched for a 7th rounder, the kid out of Texas, right? Quinn Ewers. And then again, he was the third guy. So he's sitting behind a 7th rounder out of Texas. He's sitting behind the number 1 pick, a former BYU guy out at the quarterback 2 spot. This dude has been relegated to the emergency quarterback out there. I don't know why some people think that Tua's took a lot of blows to the head, you guys. Okay, I need you guys to understand this situation. If he looks like that out there under one of the brighter offensive minds in football with their head coach, with Mike McDaniels, what do you think he's going to look like out here in Las Vegas? He's going to look absolutely terrible. So again, please kill that shit with the whole Tua coming to the Raiders. I seen some MGM odds. The Raiders were one of the teams, the Jets, and all that other shit, man. Come on, please stop this shit. No Kyler Murray. Let's not, cheat the process. Let's do this thing the right way. If you're going to get a quarterback, in the offseason, draft one. If you're not, then go all out and go get a Burrow if he's available. But do not do the Band-Aid shit again. Do not do the Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew, Geno Smith situation again. Do not do that, because again, we're going to be in the same situation that we were next year with another big contract on the books, which is actually really, truly insane. If Spytech brings in Tua or he brings in Kyler Murray, you guys, I will be one of the first people to say I was wrong about Spytech and we need to move on from him, and he needs to get his walking papers. Simple and plain. So let's kill that talk about bringing in one of those guys. They both are not fitting what we're trying to do here in Las Vegas. Go draft your guy. Even if you choose to trade back in the top 10 somewhere, let's just say you go 6, 7 somewhere, and you get, you go get Ty Simpson out of Alabama, and you think that he could be the guy, I'm okay with that. If Tom and Spytech truly believe in him to be the guy, the way he processes the field, the way he makes some of those big time throws out there at Alabama. I know he's fouled a favor with a lot of Raider Nation because of his performance against Georgia. And a few weeks, before that too, he wasn't looking too well. But if they trade back and get him and pick up a bunch of extra draft capital, I'm not going to be upset. But again, don't play around at all. Go get your quarterback in this year's draft class. And if you don't, and Burrow's available, then fuck it. Go all out, because you get a superstar quarterback, not a Geno Smith, a mid quarterback, not a Jimmy G, mid at best, not a Gardner Minshew, none of that. Simple and plain. Go get your quarterback in the draft. If it doesn't work, and even if you do want to go get Burrow, let's just say you want to go get Burrow, go get Drew Allar as well and develop him behind Burrow, because again, Burrow has had a ton of injuries. And again, Burrow is a dream scenario, you guys. I don't think that he's going to be on the outs. I know he said something along the lines of he'll be there, even though he sounded like he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? But again, if he goes to get a Kyler Murray or a Tua, we're going to have a major, major problem. You're going to lose a ton of more fans this year, and it's going to, again, look like we have no home field advantage because you're bringing in 2 guys with terrible contracts that look absolutely crazy in Las Vegas. Real talk. Go bring back John Simpson in free agency. Salute to Alex. Me personally, man, no. I think you can get better there in the draft, or you can just develop one of your guys. You still have Caleb Rogers. You still have JPJ. I don't know what they think, what the next regime is going to think about him. If they look at him as a guard still, then you don't even need to go pay a John Simpson in free agency. So again, you still got Caleb Rogers. You got JPJ. I think, honestly, the next regime will push DJ Glaze in the guard. So you got 3 guards already sitting right there. So I don't see that being necessarily a need. So no, I would stay away from John Simpson personally. Salute to you, man, Alex. Appreciate you, brother. And Paper Chase, I think anybody, with the brain in Raider Nation, if you get anything close to Jared Goff, I'm here for it. Right? We would kill right now for a Jared Goff. I mean, honestly, he did some things with the Rams. Went to this, he's done some great things with the Rams. done some great things with Detroit. Ben Johnson went out there and helped develop him even more. Very highly, touted coming out of Cal. I would love to have anything close to resembling Jared Goff at this point, honestly. So, and I think that Mendoza would have everything that he needs if we build this whole lineup, right? On the offensive side of the football with an Ashton Genty that's just waiting to break out. Bowers, the greatest tight end in football. And then you have a ton of young talent with Trey Tucker, Besh, Thornton, and we're going to build on that as well in the offseason. So let me see. Salute to my guy, Rube. Again, man, Elijah Vera Tucker is a mauler. This is facts. 32 reps bench and a 32-inch vert lets you know how explosive he is. If he's a low risk, high reward type signing, it could be a steal. And if he's hurt, we have young pups. I like that. Let me ask you, Rube, and salute to you and a salute to the chat. I want you guys' take on this as well. Get those likes up, hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. What would you be willing to pay Elijah Vera Tucker? Because again, the guard market has been absolutely insane, Rube, these last few years. Insane. So I want your honest assessment here. What would you be willing to pay Elijah Vera Tucker? I want to see market value. Let me see what his market value will be. Let me go to, so current market value is defined by his $15.3 million fully guaranteed fifth-year option for 2025 with the Jets, but projections for his next longer-term deal after 2025 vary, with analysts suggesting 16 to 19 million per year, while some see 18 plus annually if he stays healthy and produces, making him a high-risk, high-reward lineman due to his past injuries. So again, that's kind of scary. Think about it. Are you willing to pay that kind of money, which we have? We have that kind of money. And think about this. You could free up $8 million from Geno alone and put that towards that cost. You could free up some money moving on from Alex Kappa to put towards that cost. You can move on from Palomal at the safety position and put towards that cost. We can still free up more money. There's a few contracts that we can look at in the offseason to restructure as well and free up even more money. So, we'll see. Paper chase, I would do this all day, every day. All day, every day. A 2-year, $20 million deal? Definitely. And you know what's crazy? I would go as far as to make it a fully guaranteed deal. Fully guaranteed. It's nothing. We got the money the next 2 years. Fuck it. Why not? Fully guaranteed 2-year, $20 million deal. I don't think he would do that. Because again, there's going to be some team out there that's going to say, you know what, we're going to get a healthy version of him, and he's going to be great for us. We don't know. So, but again, I would definitely do that all day, every day, for sure. I'm going to see if Rube put his thoughts on that in the comments section. Let me see. I don't see Rube here with it, so I'll wait up for that. Salute to my guy Richard, man. If we get the number 1 draft pick, do you think we will have our choice of coaches? And do you know who is ready to be the first-time head coach? Hey, Swag, you're the GOAT, brother. Appreciate you. I think the number 1 draft pick essentially locks in your pick of the litter in terms of the coaching staff. As long as Spy Tech is locked in on getting the quarterback of the future. If Spy Tech goes to Chris Shula, Kubiak, LaFleur, whoever these guys, whatever the big fish in the offseason, and they say, hey, we're getting the quarterback. We're getting the quarterback. That's what we're doing. We're getting the quarterback. I think that we'll have the pick of the litter there in terms of bringing in a guy. And again, another name to keep an eye on, you guys, is Cliff Kingsbury. Once again, I know that he left without a deal the last time with AP. The Commanders' offense has shit the bed this year with Jaden in and out of the lineup, them having Marcus Mariota, the backup, start a ton of games for them. But remember, Kingsbury's relationship with Tom Brady stems from years ago. So, and one of the major reasons, and don't let anybody tell you, because everybody kept saying the third year was not a third year. Again, it was the quarterback position. If Brady goes to Clint or to Kingsbury, goes to Cliff and says, hey, got the number 1 pick, we're going to get Fernando Mendoza. What do you think about that? He could be an option. Not saying that's the right option, but again, I think you'll have the pick of the litter there if you have the number one spot. Because again, whatever person is coming in terms of head coach has a little bit more of a job security, Richard, those first few years because they're developing a young rookie quarterback. Does that make any sense? Like if you bring in, let's just say Cliff Kingsbury's the guy. It may take a few years for Fernando Mendoza to reach his full potential. It may take till year 3. There's some security, some job security in that sense. So again, I definitely think that we'll have our pick of the litter at the head coaching spot. And whether it's, again, I see a lot of QB in the building. I see a lot of Mike McDaniels, Flores, whoever it is. I don't, whoever they choose to run with, cool. I'm still on the Chris Shula train. I think that he would bring in a great offensive mind to control the offensive side of the football, and he can unlock that defense. But again, we'll see. Salute to Rich, man, my dog. Salute to Jonah. JJ in the building, man, becoming a member. Appreciate you, brother. Salute to you so much, man. Thank you for becoming a member. If you guys want to become Green Dot Gang, like my guy Johnson right here, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us, again, keep the lights on over here at OLV Raiders Network. And while you're at it, you guys, hit that subscribe button and get those likes up. Keep us in the algorithm. A few moves yesterday, you guys, as well. The Raiders did bring in, we did sign McClendon Curtis again, which is actually really cool because I'm a fan of him. I thought that they should have stuck with him the first time we brought him in as a UDFA. He's been kind of on and off the practice squad this season, but he's officially been signed to the practice squad. And also the Raiders have went out and signed Jafari Harvey to the active roster. The UDFA defensive end out of SMU. This is a guy that we talked about a lot in the offseason last year. Appeared in 64 career games with 32 starts with SMU, totaling 130 tackles, 70 solo, 22 tackles for a loss, 18 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. And this is coming from the Raiders.com. Also added 1 interception to his resume as well at SMU. 6'2", 255. It's going to be fun to see him called up and see what we can do with him. I know a few of us were actually really excited to see if he would make the active 53-man roster as the season came around leading up to week 1. He did not. But again, it's good to see what we're going to do with him moving forward. Tyree is falling out of favor, you guys. I think he had like 6 reps last week. So it's crystal clear again. I'm going to use that word again, that he is falling out of favor in Las Vegas. So maybe they're trying to bring him up. Kuntz has been struggling as well. Maybe they're trying to see what they have with Harvey, going into the offseason, because again, that is another hole that we have on this roster is at the defensive end position. Outside of Max Crosby, there's a ton of question marks surrounding, that spot opposite of Max Crosby. Malcolm is a free agent. Tyree is not him at all. That is a bust at this point. So again, we're going to have to bring in another edge rusher, and hopefully Harvey can light a fire there opposite of Max Crosby. So again, you guys, just an update there. The Raiders brought back McClendon Curtis to the practice squad, and we signed Jafari Harvey to the active roster, a guy that we brought in originally as a UDFA at SMU. So interesting. Going to be fun to see if he can get some reps because, again, Kuntz has struggled. Tyree Wilson has struggled. Snowden's been out there a ton for us. Brennan Jackson, I believe, is still on the IR. So, again, we need some help there on the edge. Tonka Hemingway has 1 sack on the season, but, again, they have not played the rookie a ton, and that has been a trend from Pete Carroll. So it's going to be interesting to see what we have with him moving forward. So some updates here in the nation, you guys, as always. And salute to my guy, Rich, on becoming a member as well. And he went on to say also, I've been listening to you forever. Just became a member, bro. You earn my respect compared to all these other content creators. That means a lot to me, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate you, man. Welcome to Green Dot Gang, brother. Graphk, does the signing of Jafari Harvey indicate that Spytech is under control of this roster now instead of Pete? It seems like it, right? It seems like it. I mean, that's a Spytech guy. He brought him in as a UDFA. He was making the calls. So, hopefully Spytech is taking the power over here at the end of the season and saying, hey, we want to see what we have with some of these young guys. We don't really care. The way you've tried to do it has not worked. And Grant's going to be on the field. Tonka's going to be on the field. JJ Pegues has had a few reps now, right? Besh has been on the field a lot recently. So hopefully, man. I mean, honestly, he should have had full control from the get-go. You know what I mean? So, but hey, it's a great sign to see that potentially our GM has kind of let his nuts hang, so to speak, in recent times and getting these young guys out there. But I hope Harvey goes out there and shows some signs of life, you guys, because we're going to need another edge rusher in the offseason. We're going to need another pass rusher because we have struggled outside of Max Crosby. We need somebody out there that can get to the quarterback opposite of him, that can help improve that D-line as a whole, man. Chef, Shula and LaFleur, head coach, OC combo. I would love it. Again, it'd be kind of difficult to lure LaFleur out to Vegas and get him away from the Rams in a move that's not like a lateral. He's accepting the same move, right? Now, again, taxes are differently. Maybe Shula says, hey, come over here, be my OC for a few years, get the offense together, and we can find you a head coaching position. Who's to say? But again, it'd be difficult to lure him away from McVay out there. But you never know. LaFleur may say, hey, man, I'm ready to run my own offense, because McVay's an offensive-minded guy and a phenomenal one at that. Maybe LaFleur is ready to take over the playbook and say, I want to go do my own thing. You may be onto something, Chef. That would be the perfect situation. It wouldn't get any better than that combination. And I've said that a million times. If that could be the duo in the offseason, we are cooking with grease. Chris Shula and Mike LaFleur. That would be phenomenal. That would be the dream come true with that duo. But again, he kind of has an easy job out there with McVay calling the shots, and him pretty much being John Gruden's Greg Olsen, so to speak. But maybe he's ready to take that next step, and get closer to being a head coach. We shall see. But I would love it. And that would be a major blow to that Rams team, losing their defensive coordinator, who was great with Shula, and then LaFleur, a name that's getting a lot more steam around him in recent times. Salute to S. Somebody compare Arvell Reese numbers to Jared Verse, David Bailey, because I don't get it. What am I missing? Have you watched the tape, S. Okay, and I'm going to bring this up. Again, because I get what you're saying in terms of production, right? I totally get it. But when you look at the tape, this kid is a stud, dog. He's a stud. 6.5 sacks this year, 31 solo tackles. Can play on the ball, off the ball. That's another thing that is really great about him. Last year, 43 total tackles, 18 solo. Last year, he did not really have anything in terms of the sack department. He had a half a sack last year for Ohio State. But to me, when you watch the tape, and you know this, S-Doc, because you're a great football mind, watch the tape. It says a lot more than 62 total tackles, 31 solo, and 2 passes defense, 6.5 sacks. A lot more than that. Watch the tape. I'm telling you. Watch. Go look at some of the film, and you're going to come back and say, okay, I get it. I'm telling you, I think he could be one of them ones. And there's every reason under the sun why he should be a top 5 pick. More than likely a top 3 pick. If quarterbacks don't go back to back to back. Arvell's a stud, man. He's a stud. And again, plays on the ball, plays off the ball. You know what I'm saying? This dude is a guy that can bring a ton of versatility as a pass rusher to this Raiders football team, and we desperately need that. Salute to Jersey. Kubiak, head coach. Saleh, DC, pay head coach money to get him here. We'll see. I mean, look, man, they're still having struggles out there with the Niners. And again, you lose Fred Warner, you lose Bosa for the year, right? You're going to have some struggles on the defensive side of the football. But he's been, turning chicken salad out of chicken shit. You know what I'm saying? Or, chicken shit out of whatever the hell this old school saying is, right? But again, I just seen something with Steve Young as well, saying that, they still are having problems getting to the quarterback, and they're also having problems defending the run. But again, when you lose Fred Warner and Bosa, that's expected. But I think Saleh would not leave the Niners to come to the Raiders to accept the same position. I think he wants to be a head coach again, honestly. And I don't think that he would leave the Niners just to accept the same position, especially after we allegedly made him an offer to be the highest paid DC in football over the Niners, and he still chose them over us. So I don't see that happening. I don't. Salute the Jers, man. Salute the Lux. Shula, LaFleur versus Saleh, McDaniels. You know what, man? I'm going to take Shula and LaFleur. That's what I'm going to do because, again, we've seen what you know, and I always butcher his name, Saleh, say whatever you want to say. I know somebody's going to say I'm butchering his name, but it is what it is. We'll say RS, okay? He has struggled at the head coaching position before. He fielded one of the better defenses in football with the Jets. But, again, he couldn't really get it done up there. Who has been able to get it done with the Jets? But I would want to see some fresh blood. Give me Chris Shula and LaFleur 10 times out of 10 over RS and Mike McDaniels. Again, that would be either one of them to me would be a great option, but I'm going to go with the first one personally. So you hear Shula, you hear LaFleur, right? And you just your antennas go up. You're like, hold on, man. Like this is Don Shula's grandchild. This is one of the LaFleurs here. You know what I'm saying? Like they're coming from that McVay tree. Like, if you can find a way to secure both those guys, I think that our organization with Spytech in the building and Brady, I think we're in very good hands, you guys. Having those two guys in the building with Spytech and Brady collectively being the brain trust of this football team. I think that is the direction to go if you can pull that off. So, salute to Frank, man, my dog, gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships as well. My brother, I appreciate you so much. And salute to all the new members in the building because of my guy, Frank. If you missed out on those, the link is up top. Again, it helps us keep the lights on over here, man. Appreciate you, brother. Next year, there will be 5 and 7 going in round 1 this year. We don't even know if Moore will come out to make it 2. That's the scary thing about it right now, right? There's so many question marks surrounding Dante Moore. Like, bro, if he is off the board, you guys, there's going to be some desperate football teams trying to locate their quarterback. Okay. Now, if Spytech and Brady are not sold on Mendoza, could you imagine how many draft picks you can get at 1 if Moore and some of these other guys, go back to school? Jaden has already done it from USC. He re-signed with them. All signs are pointing towards Dante Moore returning to school, which would be crazy. There's only a few more guys. You're looking at the Ty Simpsons, you're looking at the Drew Lars and, the Sorsbys of the world. So slim pickings at that point. So if they're not sold on Mendoza and we have the number 1 pick, you can get a ton of draft capital for him if that's the way they choose to go. But I'm just a firm believer in just getting your quarterback there and don't play around. And I think that Mendoza could be a stud at the next level. So salute to Thomas, my guy. Tom Brady did call the Lambs versus the Lions games. Who goes to say that Brady may have talked to those assistant coaches? Thomas with a haymaker. Salute to my guy. I'm here for it. Salute to my dog. Great super right there, my brother. Definitely, you never know. Because Brady's on that field before the game talking to a ton of people. So, again, you kind of get a chance to sit there and talk to Shula and talk to, LaFleur and talk to some of those guys with the Detroit Lions that may be looking, to level up as well. So you're right. Thomas may be onto something here. Let me see. Yeah, Angel, facts. I'm not out on the whole Drew Allard thing. I think that Drew Allard can be great at the next level if he has the right coaching staff in the building. So I know a lot of people are not fans of him, and I get it. That's cool, right? You guys have your opinions. That's cool. But again, if you could bring him in and he can get back to who he once was coming off that nasty injury, he could be a stud for us. You can't teach 6'5", 6'6", and that arm strength that he brings to the table. It just is what it is. So, but all right, we talked about that. We talked about, once again, you guys bringing on Jafari Harvey to the active roster, and once again re-signing McClendon Curtis. Also, you guys, in a corresponding move, we did waive defensive tackle Lecky Fotu. He has done nothing with us up to this point. Veteran journeyman, pretty much at this point. I think he played for the Cardinals, the Jets. You know what I mean? Like the writing was on the wall here, and this may be another Spy Tech special right here because he's trying to get JJ Pegues, trying to get Tonka Hemingway back, on the football field a ton. These next 3 weeks to be able to evaluate them. So I think this was really, truly the moving on from Lecky Fotu, a veteran that you already know what you have with him, and seeing what you have with Pegues, here to end the season, seeing what you have with Tonka, and then now potentially seeing what we have with Jafari Harvey. I'm going to hold out, my expectations with Harvey because, again, they could bring him up and not play. You might not play a snap. You just don't know how this thing goes. You know what I mean? But, again, moving on from a veteran is the right step, going in the right direction right now. Moving on from a Lecky Fotu and bringing up Harvey and allowing JJ Pegues and Tonka to get more reps moving forward. So I think that Spy Tech is definitely stepping on shit right now. I definitely do. I definitely think that hey Pete, this is no longer your football team. I'm gonna go ahead and take the power back. We're going to do what I want to do. We're going to move on from Lecky Fotu, the veteran defensive tackle, and we're going to get a better look at my guys, my young kid out of Ole Miss, my kid out of South Carolina, and definitely our UDFA out of SMU, which is great. You'll love to see it. And yeah, like he's been dealing with a ton of injuries as well. You know what I mean? So it's time to move on from him. I'm doing nothing but, you're just hampering the development of these young guys. Roman, man, happy birthday, my brother. Romanowski said, I turned 52 today, man. Happy birthday, brother. Everybody in the comment section, let our brother know, man. Happy birthday. Salute to Hafi, man. Mendoza will be zero drama. That's the one thing you like about that, right? One of the main factors in bringing him in. And if he won with one of the worst teams in college history, he'd be mentally prepared for the Raiders, in my opinion. Well, I'll say this. This Indiana roster is not one of the worst football teams in college history. I know what you mean in terms of the Indiana Hoosiers as a whole, right? They have not been that much of a success story in recent memory, right? But again, they have a really good defense. You know what I mean? Interesting ground game out there. Mendoza is definitely the one that has gotten them over the hump, so to speak. But they're not without him, they're not one of the worst teams in football. But I hear you. I know what you mean, Hafi. I know what you mean. You're just basically saying that the Indiana Hoosiers has not been a great football team in recent memory. I get it. Yeah. Hey, Mob, I agree with you. I think you take advantage of this year's draft class in terms of the deficiency at the quarterback position. It makes sense to come out, even if you are number 2 behind Fernando Mendoza. But again, if they say, hey, we didn't win a national championship this year, I don't know, the Ducks may win it. That's another thing to keep an eye on, you guys. If they go win the national title, which I don't have them doing, but if they do, then, all signs are probably pointing towards him leaving. So, but again, that's something to monitor. But I do believe that he should take advantage of the deficiency at the quarterback position in this year's class. Definitely, especially early, because he'd be a clear-cut top 5 pick in this draft class. And there's no guarantee that you can replicate what you did last year in Oregon next year. Injuries happen, your OC left, you just don't know. There's too many factors around that. Okay, I didn't see that. So he's entering the portal. Okay, so Sorsby's leaving Cincinnati. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe Miami. Maybe if, Dante Moore does declare, maybe takes a look at Oregon. I don't know. But I haven't heard any rumors or rumblings about Sorsby entering the portal. I must have missed my desk. But hey, man, that's cool. Dude's a stud. He's been doing some great things out there in Cincinnati. So I get that off the screen. Gonna get this off the screen. Boom. We're gonna talk about Geno Smith here real quick as well, you guys, before we get out of here. He has some interesting words at the presser, and again, I have not been watching the pressers, you guys. I may pop in and just throw the flags up and leave. I've seen a few shorts on Twitter and Instagram from some of the beat writers that are out there covering the media stuff. Salute to them, for uploading a bunch of clips, because I'm not going to watch the presser. At this point, it's just like, for what? Very political answers, not really giving us any insight on anything. So it's just like, what are we doing here, right? So it's just kind of a waste of my time. But yesterday, there was some interesting words that came from our quarterback one at media, right? And again, he returned to practice, so it looks like he will be back this Sunday against the Texans. I believe Pete did say that, it looks as though he may be returning, or he's optimistic that he'll be ready to go come Sunday, because he did return to practice Wednesday. But this is what he had to say, when they mentioned him about, kind of the future and what that means in terms of the connection with the Raiders, if he's going to be there pretty much to see this contract through. And he believes that good times are ahead of him. This is what he told reporters, and this is coming from NFL.com. I'm expecting to win a lot of games here. That's what we're pressing towards. And nothing happens in one day or 1 year, which is cap, because we've seen teams turn it around in 1 year. So whatever. But we would have loved to win the Super Bowl this year, but that's not our reality right now. The reality is we've got to get better, and we got to focus on getting better day to day. And anything else outside of that is really nonsense. I'm expecting to win a lot of games here. Chloe, can you believe this shit? I'm expecting to win a ton of games here. I'm so convinced, you guys, and I've said this shit a million times right here on this show, Coffee and Convo, that these guys are completely trolling our fan base. And now I think it's more obvious than ever that Pete Carroll wanted to get a few of his guys paid on the way out of him reaching retirement, right? Geno's 35. He's not going to be in the league too much longer, but got him a nice extension, ton of guaranteed money, right? Pete, saying, countless times, I thought we would be further ahead than where we are. I didn't think this was going to be, a rebuild type situation. And he's saying that he wants to be here to see that thing through, which is absolutely fucking insane to me. But yeah, man, I'm expecting to win a ton of games here moving forward. What's your take on this, you guys? Because he does have 2 more years remaining on his contract, right? We can get out of that deal in the offseason, and I believe, again, we'll save $8 million towards the cap next year, but we will take a hit of like $18 million, I believe, moving forward on the books. So I want you guys to take on this, man. What's your thought process if we draft Fernando Mendoza and they keep Geno Smith? I want your take on this, you guys. I want your take on this. If we go get Mendoza, are you guys okay with keeping Geno Smith around as a backup? Or the bridge guy moving forward? I'm just completely hell no, because I'm almost rest assured that he's gone anyways. If Pete is gone, Geno's gone. And then Brendan Carroll follows right behind these guys. I would preferably go in another direction. We still have Cam Miller, right? We'll still have Aiden O'Connell on the last year of his deal. I would rather have one of those guys, which is actually fucking crazy. Or even bring in the likes of a Jacoby Brissett or one of those guys, a veteran guy to help, be that guy that can help Fernando Mendoza, develop to be our guy. Keno says Kenny Pickett, right? I mean, he's already in the building. I don't think he want to move again. He's already been on 3 football teams in like 30 days, right? So Eagles, Browns, Raiders. I mean, shit, maybe he'd want to stick around. Maybe there's a Trey Lance sighting in Las Vegas. Maybe he leaves, Harbaugh and company, and that happens. I don't know. I just think anything is better than bringing back Geno Smith. Simple and plain. Especially saying stupid ass shit like this. I'm expected to win a ton of games. And those guys sat in that media room, and bro, this is why I could never work for the Raiders. This is why I could never do any media specifically with the Raiders. I can do college football like I always do at the Combine and Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl. I can do all that shit. I can do Super Bowl, row and, all that good stuff. But this, I would have broke down, bro. I would have broke out laughing, bro. I'm expected to win a ton. We're expecting to win a ton of games moving forward. I would have literally broke down in tears out of laughter, bro. They would have kicked me the fuck out that room. They would have kicked me out. They would have kicked me out. They would have kicked me out, man. What shows you in this 2-12 season up to this point that you could do anything else other than turn the football over, take the most sacks in football, and lose a ton of ball games? Again, you guys, I'm telling y'all now, we are being trolled. We are being hoodwinked. What the fuck is going on over here, man? Shit. Salute to Nada, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But wanted to bring that up because I wanted to get your guys' opinion on our QB1 stating that he's expecting to win a ton of games moving forward. Yeah. So there you have it. 2-12. Tied for interception leader in the NFL. Sacks leader in the NFL. Comedic gold, Geno. Never stop being you, brother. Never stop being you. You have a way with words, Geno. I think when you end up leaving football, you should become a rapper, an artist, or some shit. Like, you have a way with words. Like, they wrote me off. I ain't write back. And, what was the gamble shit? The Vegas quote that he had, which I forgot what the fuck that was. But you have a way with words, my brother. Like, you are phenomenal. With the way you throw your words around, man. I think you should become an artist or a ghostwriter. Maybe you can go, link up with a label and write for some of these young artists. You could be a stud, bro. Honestly, you could be a stud. You have a way with words, Geno Smith. You do. You're not only great at flipping fans off. You're not only great at, shit like that. You're actually great with hyping shit up. Here for it. Oh, yeah. You know what? We got to end the show on that note, bro. We talked about it earlier, you guys, but I want to read this Ian Rappaport tweet because I want to remind you guys again how fake this industry is, okay? I just want to talk about how fake this industry is and how much you have to question everything that you hear out of, the Ian Rappaports, the Adam Scheffners of the world, just the guys that cover this sport, right? And again, these guys are very, very much so locked in. This is why I'm going to go so hard on this specific topic, because you're locked in. You know better than this, okay? But he puts out a tweet, okay? It's been a challenging season in Las Vegas. This is coming from Ian Rappaport. But the Raiders have some success stories. Linebacker Devin White is a big one. He has emerged as a potential comeback player of the year candidate, which he's not on any list, you guys, at all in terms of comeback player of the year. Not one of them. I've not seen one list that he's on. In DC, Patrick Graham's scheme. Is this Graham's scheme? I mean, Pete Carroll as the 5th player in team history to eclipse 140 tackles. Ian Rappaport, you should know better than anybody that tackles are the most overhyped stat in football, because Bobby Wagner is on this list as well. And we can go over a few other names and you're going to be like, oh my God, here we go. With 1 sack, White would join DeMario Davis, my apologies, as one of the 2 players since 2019 to get 700 plus tackles and 25 sacks. And I believe, okay, I've seen it somewhere. I don't know where the hell it was. Where was it? I think it was Just Blog Baby as well. Yes, there we go. Salute to my guys over there, Just Blog Baby. White has struggled in pass coverage, allowing opposing quarterbacks to complete 77.1% of their pass attempts for 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 91.4 passer rating with him as the primary defender. He has also missed 18 tackles on the year and has a 42.3 Pro Football Focus grade that ranks him 80th out of 88 qualifying linebackers. So, yeah, man, it's crystal clear here that he's locked in with his agents. It's crystal clear here that Devin White is a free agent that's going to be looking for a new deal. And it's also crystal clear. That is the word of the day today, you guys. Crystal clear. It's very evident that Devin White has seen all of the noise about his effort recently, how this fan base has been in an uproar with some of the performances that he's put on tape, right? And we're sick of him. We're ready to move on. But again, he is laying his hat. He's dying on the hill of, I am second in terms of total tackles. So he is leaning on his agents to lean on the Ian Rappaports and Adam Schefters of the world to go out there and sell this shit in order for him to secure another deal. This is the same guy that fell out of favor in Tampa Bay. I don't believe he ever even played a snap in Philadelphia, fell out of favor with the Houston Texans, and now is with the Raiders, forced to be a starter for us because our linebacking core is one of the worst linebacking cores I've ever seen at the NFL level. So when Ian, I'm going to ask you this. When you put out the tweet that Lecky Fo 2 was waived, you might as well put potential comeback player for him as well, but you must not know his agent. You must not know his agent. This shit is like fuckery at this point. It's actually crazy to see a guy that is a professional like Adam Schefter put this kind of shit out. But again, payola. I'm smart enough to understand, you guys. I come from the music industry. I was in the music industry for 20 years, 20 plus years. And, you know, these labels pay the radios to play the records, to get the kids to hear them constantly over and over and over again, to sell records, right? Well, nothing changes in the sports realm. It's the same shit. It's get the guys that cover this sport at the highest level. Like I said, the Ian Rappaports, the insiders, the Adam Schefter's, the Jordan Schultz of the world, and spew this shit into the world so our client can find another deal. I just want to call Ian Rappaport a ho for that tweet. I think that you lost a ton of respect around NFL circles for that shit. And I hope that Cash App was worth some of your integrity. And yeah, man, disgusting. Nasty. Because again, you just look at the total of tackles, you can't sell that. You can't sell that to other teams. There are casuals that watch this football team that say, I don't really know a ton about the game, but I can tell you one thing, 45 is not a good football player. I've had this conversation with several people that, and I don't watch the game the way you do, Graphk, watching tape and really, rewinding it and checking it out again and really getting to the nitty gritty of this shit. But I can tell you one thing, 45 ain't a good football player. Once again, man, I hope that money was worth some of your credibility there, Mr. Ian Rappaport. Yes, David, set the edge. It's so funny, too. He posted a picture with him and Max Crosby. Max is in the picture as well, which is funny because not too long after that picture, Max was on his ass on the sideline about not setting the edge when Dallas, the tight end, scored, I believe, his second touchdown at the time. So, wasted. You were wrong. You were wrong about Devin White. Can't wait for our show tomorrow. Gonna have some fun. I got to see this real quick. Salute to Hug. Hug sent the picture. Bro, look dead on you too, bro. I see that you made sure your wife put some muscles on you and shit, bro. I see you. But that shit do look like a fire logo, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. That looked like it could be a fire t-shirt. Bodega, facts. Get the F up out of here. But again, man, crazy week in football, you guys. Again, I have a few more shows set up for the week, y'all. So we're coming up on the hour and a half mark. Me and Wasted will be live tomorrow. Graphk and Wasted and Graphk show. And then also, me and Stu have a show. He wanted to take some notes. He wasn't ready to do the show today, you guys. So I just chose to do a coffee and convo. But we're going to hopefully, maybe Saturday, hopefully we can get this going before Sunday. We're working on a 2006 Raiders versus the 2025 Raiders. Okay. And for those who have no idea, Stuart Schweigert, my brother, one of my best friends in the world, played for that team where they went 2-14. They had one of the better defenses in football. I think they were the number 3 total defense in football, potentially the number 2. And we'll go over, that stuff. But we're going to do 2006 Raiders compared to the 2025 Raiders. We're going to have some fun with that. Again, somebody that was there every step of the way in that locker room, on that football field for that 2-14 season in 2006. And we're going to cover a ton of ground with comparisons between that and the 2025 team. This shit show that we had to cover this year. So it's going to be fun. Make sure you guys tap in for that one. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a miserable, miserable show, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So 3 more shows set up this week, you guys. Graphk and Wasted and Graphk and Stu show, and then me and Hammer will be calling the game on Sunday. Other than that, I'm not going to come over here and press go live for no reason. Again, there's been nothing truly to talk about this week, so I've took a few days off to get prepared for Christmas and get my house situated for family about to come out in a few weeks and stuff like that. So I've been focused on other things. My son has a 7-on-7 tryout this Saturday. Fingers crossed my kid goes out there and kills it like he always does. But other than that, you guys, as always, man, appreciate every single one of you guys for rocking with me and always coming through and blessing the channel. You guys are the greatest. Wipe them feet on the way out. Get those likes up and also hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. I am out of here.